Welcome to Organized Zen Now. My name is Janie Downey. Thank you so much for joining me here today. So Organized Zen is all about trying to figure out what you want to get done, what's deep in your heart that you're not getting to, and figure out a way to do it that's peaceful. The Zen part is figuring out a path that works for you and not necessarily for everyone else. If this is helpful to you, please like, please share, and please subscribe. When you subscribe to a channel on YouTube, it helps other people who have the same kind of problems find the same kind of answers. And from the feedback I get, we all have problems with organization. So don't be shy about it. Share if this is helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is part of a series I'm doing on decluttering. So decluttering is the number one request I get when I'm doing a talk for people to ask for help because people have a huge issue with it. The part I'm talking about today, I think, is one of the hardest parts, which is how do you declutter in a shared space? So I'm going to start with this quote from Leo Babauta, who writes a beautiful blog called Zen Habits. So here's what Leo had to say about this. Be thankful you have others in your house whom you love, and recognize that there is a certain level of chaos that comes with shared space. Leo has a wife and 6 children, so he has a lot of shared space, and this is ways that he's helped to cope with it as well. All right, so the number one thing that you can do, if you have decided that there's just too much clutter in your house and you're ready to tidy up, the number one pitch is to say, become a salesperson. Get everyone together, this kids, spouse, whoever you live with, parents, to say, let's have a sit down. Let's sit in a space that I feel like has too much stuff going on in it. And let's look at this as a group. This seems too crowded. Whose stuff is here? How can we sort this out? How can we make this a better working space? What's the highest, best use of this space and maybe without so much stuff in it? So you have to be a great salesperson for that. Paint a vision to say, here's what this could look like. You could even, this works really well for me, move some furniture around. When you start to move things, the energy starts to move and you start to find maybe better solutions for where stuff goes. You can also just say, wow, 90% of this seems to belong to this one person and maybe this needs to go back to your space. When my girls were growing up, I considered that the places like the living room and the kitchen were public space and that the girls had space that they could put their stuff in, but it wasn't always in the public space. So you're trying to take things out of your public space and put them back into a separate space. So that's a natural segue to number 2, which is everybody should have some space in the house where they get to make all their own decisions. So if you have some super messy kids or parents or friends, don't over-organize everything for everybody. Organize yourself and let people live their lives as well and define to say this is public, this is private. When I was growing up, I was a super messy kid because I was always in the middle of an art project or a storytelling project. And my dad finally conceded and said, fine, we'll just shut the door. I loved that because that gave me my space to do what I was doing with it. And when I wanted to straighten it up and put it back in order, that was at my time. That is super important for everybody. And that's a great skill for kids to learn, particularly in your house. So that would be the number 2 is to say, divide and conquer and say, we can't do it all, but let everyone have their own space. If they want to have a closet that's just jammed, that's their closet. You gotta live with that. And that leads naturally then to the third piece, which is if you are super interested in tidying up and no one else is, you're getting no help with this whatsoever, it's just say, okay, how important is this to me? Because if it is super important to you, this is what Leo finally had to do, Leo Babauta. He just said, you know what? I like it tidy. I'm going to take this on and I'm going to be the tidier of the group. And then there's a Zen feeling to say, I recognize that everybody else is going to be messier in this space than I am, but I still want this space to be clean. So I'm going to straighten it up. So that's your third choice out of that. All right. So the other thing is really talking about working with kids. So kids tend to have a lot of stuff. And, if you're going to put it away for them, then why are they going to ever learn to put stuff away? So it's a trickier piece. They're not as disciplined as you and I are, right? So what can you do to help kids put stuff away? The first is to sit down with them to say, this space is too messy. Maybe this is a playroom that's kind of in between. It's not their space personally, but it's space that's on the edge of public to say, this is a mess. And you're going to help them straighten it up. But you're not going to do it. You're going to help them straighten it up. And to do that, you want to do just like you do with any decluttering, which is to say there should be a place for everything. You may need to add labels to say, blocks go here, toys with wheels go here, coloring pieces go here, paper goes here. Label it, If it's little kids that can't read yet, you may need to put a little picture on whatever it is that you're putting stuff into to say, this is where these items go, and put things together that are similar. So the pens all go in one place, the blocks all go in one place. Your kids are very good about sorting things out. Their brains are geared for that as they're little, to say these things match. So they're very good at matching. Then they just need to know where the matching pieces go, and you're going to help them, and they're going to help you about where they'd like to put them. And then your job is to label them and make sure that they understand that similar things go together. The second is to help them understand that when they are done with the project, that they need to finish with it. Now, you need to be understanding, like my dad was with me, that some projects take longer than others. If they really are legit in the middle of designing something, making something that's really cool, you're going to have to take that on to say everything doesn't have to be always in perfect order. But when they're done, part of being done is putting things back in their place. There is a beautiful cleaning feeling. And as I always say, when you get one space cleared out, new ideas come in. This happens for your children as well. So if everything's just out and it's always chaotic, how are those new ideas going to come in? So they've got a space for it. They recognize where that is. And then to get that understanding from you that when stuff is done, that it needs to go away. Now, a big trick with that is, this applies to you too. So if you got stuff all over the kitchen table or all over a counter, and you're not putting it away, then your kids see that. You got to know that. So live by your own credo. If you want stuff to be tidy, keep your stuff tidy, live by example, and then help your kids find a good place to put stuff, and then help them figure out how to put it away each time they're done. And the other part with that is to start what they finish. So kids are notorious, so are adults, truthfully. We start at stuff and we're not quite done, then you put it away. You do. Maybe you have to give yourself a schedule or a time limit, but start what you finish. Finish what you start, and then put stuff away. All right, I hope that helps. You can tell what the activity would be. The number one is to find those spots where you live, to say, I gave another talk on this, looking for congealed energy. Where do you see stuff piling up? And then tackle it as a group, or tackle it yourself to say, you know what, this is going to be more important to me. But always start with that conversation, I think, to say, we all live here. We're all part of the same team. How can we make this space more livable for us? The bottom line to all of that, though, is, again, going back to what Leo said, if you are lucky enough to live with people that you love, you have to recognize that there's a little chaos with that. And if you bum everyone out by having a ton of rules and you're super strict about everything, that's not a very fun household to live in. So it needs to be organized. It needs to have some nice flow to it. It needs to not have huge pileups of things. But you want a peaceful, beautiful house where your kids feel safe and everyone feels that they're welcome and their ideas are welcome. So working together as a team, as a family, can cause a few laughs and can also give you a tidier space. Okay, I hope that's helpful. If it is, please like, please share, and please subscribe below so you can find me again and so other people can find me as well. Okay, go have fun with this. Bye.